In the world of agricultural machinery, color carries a lot of weight. Green, red, and blue have dominated the American landscape for over a century. But over the last few decades, a bright, unmistakable orange has moved from the edges of the garden to the center of the heavy-duty farm. Kubota. It's a name that for many years was synonymous with small homeowner tractors. But if you haven't looked at a Kubota dealership lately, you're missing one of the biggest shifts in modern farming history. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the engineering, the history, and the future of Kubota. We'll look at how a company that started making water pipes in Japan became the king of the compact tractor market, and why they are now a serious threat to the big three in the high horsepower row crop sector. We aren't just looking at the shiny paint, we are looking at the ROI, the engine specs, and the resale value that makes these machines a staple for the modern producer. To understand the tractor, you have to understand the man. In 1890, at just 19 years old, Gonshido Kubota started a metal foundry in Osaka. They weren't making machines yet, they were making cast iron water pipes. Why does this matter? Because it established the company's DNA, metallurgy, and durability. When you cast your own iron, you control the molecular strength of the tractor's frame. By the 1920s, Japan was desperate for mechanization to feed a growing population. Kubota responded by producing their first oil-based engine for agro-industrial use. They didn't just assemble parts bought from other suppliers, they engineered the metal itself. This vertical integration, building everything from the engine block to the transmission in-house, remains Kubota's greatest strength today. When Kubota finally entered the US market in 1969 with the 21 horsepower L200, the experts laughed. At that time, American farmers were obsessed with bigger is better. They were buying 100-plus horsepower row crop machines and ignored the small stuff. But Kubota saw a gap. The small-scale farmer, the orchard owner, and the landscaper had been forgotten. That toy tractor became the foundation of a multi-billion-dollar empire because it did the work that big tractors simply couldn't fit into. Let's get technical for a moment. If you ask a veteran farmer why they stay loyal to Orange, they won't talk about the cup holders, they'll talk about the engine. Kubota is currently the world's leading manufacturer of non-automotive multi-cylinder diesel engines under 100 horsepower. In fact, if you own a piece of construction equipment like a bobcat or a generator, there is a high chance there is a Kubota engine hidden under that hood. Their E-TVCS, or triple vortex combustion system, was a game changer for the industry. It allowed for cleaner emissions, reduced noise, and significantly better fuel economy long before the government-mandated Tier 4 standards became a headache for farmers. For the operator in the 45 to 60 age bracket, reliability is the #1 priority. You don't have time for a machine that won't turn over in a cold snap. You want a machine that starts in February in North Dakota just as easily as it does in July in Texas. Kubota's focus on high-torque, low-vibration diesel power is exactly why these machines often see 5,000 to 10,000 hours before a major overhaul is even considered. That is the kind of longevity that pays for itself over a decade of hard use. Beyond the engine, we have to talk about how that power gets to the ground. Kubota's HST, or hydrostatic transmission, revolutionized the compact market. For years, clutching and shifting was the standard, but Kubota perfected the 3-range HST. It allows for infinite speed control with a simple foot pedal, which is critical when you are doing precision loader work or moving through a tight barn. But they didn't stop at the backyard. In their larger M series, they introduced the KVT, or Kubota Variable Transmission. This is a continuously variable transmission, CVT, that ensures the engine is always running at its most efficient RPM for the load it's pulling. Whether you're baling hay or pulling a grain cart, the tractor is smart enough to adjust itself. Then there's the hydraulic system. On the newer M7 series, you're looking at a closed-center load-sensing system with a flow rate of up to 29 gallons per minute. That means you can run complex hydraulic implements without the tractor breaking a sweat. For the modern farmer, That flow rate is the difference between a job taking 4 hours or 6. For a long time, the criticism of Kubota was great for a 5-acre hobby farm, but can it handle 500 acres? Kubota heard that, and they answered with the M series, specifically the M7 and the massive M8. With the M8, Kubota broke the 200 horsepower barrier, and they did it through a strategic partnership with Versatile and Cummins. This move was a clear signal to the industry. Kubota is ready for row crop applications. The M8 features a 9-liter engine and a massive frame designed for heavy tillage. But even in this beast, they didn't lose their roots. They kept the portal front axle on many models, which gives Kubota an industry-leading turning radius. For those of you working in tight livestock pens or crowded orchards, you know that being able to turn on a dime saves you hours of labor and reduces fuel waste over the course of a season. It's that combination of big power and small space agility that is winning over traditional John Deere and Case users who are tired of struggling with bulky front ends. Let's be honest, farming is hard on the body. When you're spending 10 to 12 hours in the seat, ergonomics aren't a luxury, they are a health requirement. Kubota's grand cabin design is frequently cited as one of the best in the industry for visibility. The glass is curved to reduce glare, and the pillars are moved back to give you a nearly 360-degree view of your implements. They've moved away from cluttered floors to a flat deck design with hanging pedals, which makes getting in and out of the cab much easier for operators who might have a few old football injuries or a bad back. Everything is controlled by the K monitor. This isn't just a screen, it's the brain of the tractor. It integrates your hitch position, PTO speed, and even your rear-view camera into one intuitive interface. For the news-focused farmer, the technology is the story. The K-monitor supports ISO bus, meaning you can plug in almost any modern implement from a Kins planter to a Kuhn baler and have it talk to the tractor immediately. No more messy wiring harnesses or 5 different screens hanging in the cab blocking your view. Finally, we have to talk about the orange economy. If you look at equipment auctions today, Kubota tractors hold their value remarkably well. Why? Because the market for a used 50 horsepower Kubota is massive. Whether it's a construction company, a hobby farmer, or a municipality, there is always someone looking for a used Kubota. This high resale value lowers your total cost of ownership. When you trade in that tractor 5 years later, you're getting a significant chunk of your investment back. Combine that with a dealer network that has expanded into almost every corner of rural America, and you have a machine that is as much a financial tool as it is a farming tool. So, where does Kubota go from here? They're already leading the way in autonomous, driverless technology in Japan and are testing electric compacts for the suburban market. But for the professional farmer, their focus remains on bridging the gap between high-tech efficiency and old-school durability. Kubota didn't become a leader by trying to be John Deere. They became a leader by being the best at what they do, building engines that don't quit and tractors that work as hard as the people driving them. If you're looking to add a machine to your fleet this year, the question isn't why orange, it's why haven't you tried it yet? Thanks for watching this deep dive into the orange giant. If you found this technical breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more agricultural news and machinery reviews. We'll see you on the next turn.